You're listening to Coast FM 963. I'm Sarah B, and with me here today is philosopher, author and psychologist Carlos Camacho. Carlos, welcome back to the Weekend Beat.
Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Carlos, it is Christmas time, which is a wonderful time for so many people. Everywhere you look, Christmas is the go in the shopping centres. You can't really get away from it. But I wanted to talk to you today about the other side of Christmas, and it's the side where people become affected at this time of year. Now, there's a bit in the media about whether this is fact or fiction, so let's start there. Is there an elevated risk of depression and other things at Christmas time?
Yes, there is. It's because, of course, a lot of things are emphasised and highlighted, especially our loneliness. When we see images on the TV, when we walk outside and we see people together, we become all of a sudden self-conscious of our own situation. And if we have other people around us, we usually don't see it. But when we don't, we find that it really highlights the fact that we haven't got what most people seem to have.
I guess that's also this time of year when you're looking at the year that you've had and the year ahead. There's a lot of review going on. Am I where I should be? Have I done what I thought I would do? And New Year's resolutions also bring attention to that.
Yes, that's right, Sarah. And that's why I always tell my parents, don't worry about New Year's. It's just a calendar and you can have your own calendar. I usually say to people, a good time to start is right now.
But what about all the festivities? If you're going to start eating healthily, you miss out on that week of when everybody writes everything off.
And that's why I'm a big believer of having a certain routine, but flexible. So you don't have to say, I'm going to start right now, not drinking, not eating crap, and not going to bed too late forever. It's, okay, between, say, Sunday and Thursday night, this is my bed routine because I've got to get up early in the morning. But Friday and Saturday, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to give myself the flexibility. It's 24th of December, it's a 25th, it's a 26th. Great. These days, I'm going to put that on hold and come back to it later. Maybe on the 27th, 28th, have a bit of a break. And then why not go nuts on the 1st and 31st? Because you've earned that. And if you find yourself a formula that you feel comfortable with, that'll work.
Let's talk about the other component aside from the food in the festivities. There's the meeting of family, and you might not have been together for a whole year. Then you come together. There's a tendency to compare ourselves to people around us, or Auntie Jude might say, oh, you're not pregnant yet, or don't you have a fella, or whatever. How do people cope with that aspect if they do have family but they find that so much pressure getting together on Christmas Day?
Yeah, funny that. I mean, with family, of course, we're tied because of reasons other than wanting to be with that person, because we're tied by blood and relationship, of course, which is important to get together, especially a few times a year, just to understand where we come from. It's good for our identity. Now, we're not going to get along with a lot of people in our family, but with family, we need to prepare for those events in the sense that there is always going to be someone saying something or doing something that we dislike. Things will happen in our life that we can't control. So we have to take a more stoic approach to say, look, yes, these things are going to happen, but you know what? I'm not going to allow them to affect me. And Auntie Jude will probably ask me this, and I'm going to prepare for that. I'm going to visualize it, and this is a response that I'm going to give. I'm going to give a smile on my face and say, no, that's all right, but I'm working on it, or so forth, and leave it at that. It's almost like practicing it before it happens.
How do you practice for something that you can't control? Like if you are experiencing an economic sort of clinch at this time of year and you can't have all the presents under the tree, or you know you're going to disappoint somebody but it's out of your control. What about those situations? What do we do then?
That's difficult because we have expectations and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because of other people's expectations of us. Now, we all have our own personal situation that we have to adhere to. And sure, we would like to do certain things, but we can't. So for some of us, we are lucky enough or fortunate enough to be able to participate in this gift sharing thing that we do over Christmas in a relatively appropriate way. Some people find it harder, and some people, of course, have so much money that it doesn't bother them at all. But it's not about how much you give, it's the quality and making sure that you stick to your situation. Now, there's going to be family, there's going to be friends, and there's going to be other people expecting certain things. Now, those people that do love us, they will know our situation, and that pressure should be really taken off from ourselves first. So it's very easy to talk to someone and say, look, this is what I would have loved to given you, but due to my situation, I haven't been able to. So have this for now. One day when I'm better, I'm gonna want to buy you this thing that I really, really love for you to have. And if they really love us, I'll understand that. If not, we don't need people in our lives that judge us by the material goods we give them.
Let's take it back to the beginning again and talk about those who are lonely at Christmas. If you don't have family to share Christmas Day with, what do you do then?
That's important because there's a lot of people, like we said at the start, that have a tough time. A lot of it is because they are lonely, and a lot of it is as well because they are with the wrong people. So it's better to be alone than in bad company. I love that saying, still one of my favorite ones. But being alone is very different to being lonely. And so one can be alone and still be relatively happy because we have peace and freedom. So they're two important things. What we don't have is love giving back to us. But we do have peace being alone, and we do have freedom. So we have to concentrate on the things we do have. People that will feel lonely during Christmas because they have no one to share it with, they need to be able to have a certain philosophy of life and say, okay, at this stage of my life, I don't have anyone because of certain reasons. Some of them could be because of their own choosing. They decide not to be with a person that actually causes them more harm. Another reason may be out of their control because they may not have the friends. If that's the case, I would suggest to reach out to people, reach out to neighbors, go outside, talk to people, because sometimes it just takes one word and we feel part of the community again. Don't stay inside, be proactive and search.
Thank you very much to author, philosopher and psychologist Carlos Camacho for coming into the Weekend Beat today. If you are alone at Christmas, there is a community Christmas barbecue you can join. It's at Mackenzie Reserve in Budgewoi on Christmas Day from 11 to 2 p.m. It's hosted by Crystal Forestieri, and you can come down to Mackenzie Reserve in Budgewoi. You don't need to bring anything except a picnic blanket, and you can enjoy a free sausage sizzle and a Christmas carol or two. That is the community Christmas barbecue in Budgewoi. Details are on Facebook.